like to thank Mary Lynn Carver from College of Lake County for being here today. I'll let her tell you a little bit more about herself in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you first, I mentioned that we have a new resource for recruiting and informing people about Bridge. So how this came about is that at one of the Bridge learning communities, which is part of the ICAPS overall Transitions Academy offerings. I said it this morning, it's a full year of support. So one of the things that is provided to you are ICAPS learning communities and Bridge learning communities. They are different learning communities. Sometimes they overlap. And we were talking last spring and everybody was kind of bemoaning the fact that they were having a hard time recruiting and hiring Bridge teachers. And so one of the things that they said is this was actually Heather Davis, who you will see in one of the videos, suggested having some videos. And so that's a project that we took on. So they're brand new. And if you're saying, where can we find all these Bridge videos that you speak of, Sarah? Here's the thing, right there on the ICAPS website. And I know you know where the ICAPS website is because you had to go there to get into this session. But on the front landing page, there's a button that says Bridge Teacher Videos, and there's 4 of them right there. And then we're going to take a look at not all of them, but right now I'm going to bring one. The first one is the benefits of being a Bridge teacher. It's about 2 minutes long. So I'm going to show that, and then I have one other one. And then after those 2 videos, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, but then we'll turn it over to Mary Lynn to talk about their training program.
I am helping students get to their goals in the future, which makes me happy. And that's kind of what my career is about, teaching, helping people get to where they need to be. And I know by doing that, I'm actually kind of probably becoming a better mother because of that. I'm probably becoming a better person because of that, with every class, with every student that I help. I think making time to teach a Bridge class would be beneficial for any person because you see the positive, you see that light at the end when the class is over. And whether it's 1 student or 50 students that you now have gotten on a solid path, it feels good.
These Bridge programs has helped me a lot. Personal, because they help me to be more open.
I would suggest anyone who is considering teaching a Bridge course should say yes to whoever asks them, because they would enjoy the experience and they would learn and the students would learn. It's just a great experience.
It's an exciting part of the adult education field, and you are really helping change people's lives. You're helping them learn to set goals and meet those goals. And I think that's one of the greatest challenges I've seen with students when they come to the classes. They know they want a different job, maybe they want to make more money, they're not happy with what they're doing, but they don't know what they want to do. And so we do a lot of self-assessment, and we talk a lot about setting goals, which they haven't done before. And so I would say, just don't be afraid to join the Bridge community. Try it. Think about what you have to offer and think about what you have to gain from being that teacher.
I was a student like that once. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I want to do something so I can relate, and I feel good at the end of the day knowing that I'm helping people with more than just English. We're helping with, lifelong learners we're creating here, right? So I think that's important for me as a professional.
All right, that's video 1. And as I mentioned, that is the benefits of being a Bridge teacher. There's also another one that relates how Bridge teachers can support DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and access work. So letting you know that there is another one that is, benefits of Bridges for students. So it's a little bit different part of that recruitment process is thinking for students, how they can benefit from that. And we love this because we've got a couple of students and teachers. You'll see some of the same teachers, not some, they are the same teachers, voices in this, but then also you'll hear from a couple of learners. I want to mention a couple of things before I bring this one up. First of all, I want to point out that, you know what, you guys, we are always looking for good ideas from the field. Nobody knows what you need more than you do. So if you need something, if you see a need, speak up and say, hey, you know, we can't promise everything, but we will try, because this whole project literally came from a teacher who came to a learning community and says, I need this. And everybody that was there said, yeah, we agree. So we're like, okay, motion passes, let's do it. So I want to make that point. And the other point I want to make to you is, if you have resources to share, we would love for you to step up, and I can share my contact information in the chat whenever Mary Lynn starts talking. And because I can't do two things at once, that's why I'm not going to do it while I'm talking, because they'll just be messy. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not going to end well. So while Mary Lynn takes over in just a few minutes, I will put some resources and put my contact information, because we would love to capture what you're doing. And if you have anything to share, or you just have a story to share that you'd like to see in the newsletter or share it on social media, please let us know. Okay, so I'm going to, this is benefits of Bridges for students. It's a little bit longer. I think this one is like 3 or 4 minutes long. Oh, it's 5.
What jobs are out there that meet my interests? What jobs are out there that I want to do, so it isn't a job, it's a career? So the first, couple weeks of class is simply, but most importantly, I think, establishing what am I interested in, what are my goals, what is available out there that reaches them. And that's kind of step one. Everything else comes after that. So I find that part to be beneficial for my students, because again, sometimes they come to us and they have no idea. Like, I just know I'm missing something, or I need to do something different. What can I do? And that's kind of where we go.
Our classes are online. We also provide, and we have special speakers that come in to talk with them about specific jobs in the medical field. We provide them with assistance in finding jobs. We can suggest that they speak with some other people within the World Relief Organization about pursuing further classes and getting financial assistance for that.
I like learning with other people. It makes me feel less nervous.
What I enjoy being in the bridge class is that it helped me to communicate with others. The benefits I see by being in the bridge class is to better myself, a better opportunity, a better future, and better career. The bridge program was the one that guided me. They the one who guided me to influence myself to want to go to Rivian. My life wouldn't be as perfect as it is now, because now I'm in a better state and doing better. So I'm getting my education, and they want me to go ahead and better myself. They're very proud of me for going and do this after 37 years. I think I would like to go into the counseling to help others with the LGBTQ. Yes, it gives me confidence to go back to school.
She finished this program, and now she's a lawyer. She's doing an amazing job helping her people, and even here. She was a lawyer already in her country, but she hasn't the courage. She didn't feel comfortable with her English. So be in this program, teach her to feel more comfortable and to go over there and embrace and be brave. So I think this program is, I don't know, but changed life. And something that I can say, this program touched hearts and changed lives. For example, one of my students, she didn't know how to use the computer. And now She is working at the office, in a good office. She is making a good money and using computers. So, and she was like, oh, teacher, this program is amazing. Helps me a lot.
Reflecting once the class is over, I asked, what things did you find most beneficial in this course? And several people did say the mock interview in conjunction with writing the resume, because they got real life feedback. We had other teachers and counselors hold this. We practiced writing the resume, we practiced mock interviewing, and then they went and they did it, and then they got real life feedback. You know, for example, one student said, oh, I had the best answer for what is a something that I need to work on. What is a weakness that I need to work on was one of the questions. And they said nothing. And they thought that was a good answer because there's nothing they need to work on. And so it was really good that they said they appreciated hearing that that was actually not a good answer, that what they should be talking about is, you know, an actual weakness. None of us are perfect. So I know one student in particular thanked me for, you know, just being better prepared for questions that most likely will be asked, and knowing that nothing isn't the best answer.
I had one student who came, and she did not have a medical background. And when she finished, she went to a pharmacy in her local community and talked with them about becoming a pharmacy tech. They hired her with no training. They trained her. And that is a typical step in the pharmacy technician field. She was hired full time. They trained her. The last that I spoke with her, which was a couple of months ago, she was studying for her certification so she could become a certified pharmacy tech. And they had also taught her how to give vaccinations. So I was so excited for her.
All right, thank you. And I want to say thank you to all of the teachers and students who were willing to share for that, because obviously we could not have made it without them. All right. Okay, so I am going to stop sharing now. That gives you a quick overview of the bridge training and resources that we have available. Like I said, that's kind of half. We have 2 more, and I'll put the link in just a minute. And Mary Lynn, do you want to bring your slides up and talk a little bit about your teacher training program at College of Lake County?
Sure. And I know you cannot see them yet. And I just need to flip my screens. Okay. So can you see my blue and green slide?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sarah, for asking us to share information about our team teacher training program. That was one of the things that we developed during the pandemic that has been really helpful and fruitful. And so I'm really excited to share it with you. And so I'm Mary Lynn Carver. I'm from the College of Lake County up in Northern Illinois. We have 3 campuses across the county, and we offer Bridge and ICAPS at all 3 campuses. And our ICAPS teachers are from mostly the career and technical end. We're starting an academic ICAPS probably in the fall of 24, but we're still working on that. But we're very excited. We have a lot of buy-in from the divisions that we work with and the programs that we have, and of course our students are great. So just to give you a quick idea of what programs we offer, this is just ICAPS, not Bridges. In the spring, we'll be doing nursing assistant, one of the computer information technology, the HVAC, and the phlebotomy. We also offer in the fall semester some of these that are listed, and then some that aren't in our 23 cycle, but that we have available. They'll probably be run in fiscal year 24 are right here. And of course, if a CTE program wants us to add a program, we're happy to do that. So overall, the biggest reason I'm here today is to share a Canvas training program that we developed for our team teachers. And why would we want to do an online training? The biggest reason was we were providing teacher training, team teacher training multiple times per year. And so before each semester in the summer, sometimes if someone got assigned late and they needed to have the team teacher training, because we want that to be one of our criteria for teaching in ICAPS, we would do a one-on-one training, and it was just taking too much staff time, and there were shortages in the other divisions and in our division, and we were trying to think of a way that we could help ourselves and make sure that everyone was getting the same information and getting trained the way we wanted to make sure that they were, so they could participate. Then of course came COVID, enough said. And we also wanted to make sure that we were giving consistency of information, being much more efficient in how it was delivered, and offer convenience for the teachers to get trained. We do not require people who had already been trained to come back and do the Canvas training, because it just would have duplicated the information. We also wanted to make sure that our new CTE and adult ed teachers who wanted to teach in ICAPS had a resource so that they could go someplace and look at the information without having to try and contact us and wait for an answer. And we wanted it to be easily accessible and easy to update and be able to track who completed. So the first thing we did was sit down and have a discussion about what needed to be included. And so we wanted to make sure that our teachers understood that ICAPS is an Illinois-wide program. So we had Sarah come in and do a talk about ICAPS in Illinois. And then we also did an overview of our ICAPS at CLC. And we have clips from a bunch of different places, and we have some student stories, videos. We have the adult education components of ICAPS, which includes student success, wraparound services, and some videos from our student success team, from a couple of our ICAPS teachers, from our student, we have a student stories video. And then we also wanted to make sure we included tips for team teaching success. And most of our resources came right from ICCB and ICSPS and Transitions Academy. So we use the resources that are already there. It's not like we reinvented the wheel. We just compiled things and customized it for our program. One of the things that we did in Canvas that was an advantage to putting it on Canvas is we made sure that the modules were locked and they couldn't go to the next module until they completed a quiz. And then at the end, there was a secret way to get their certificate of completion. And I'll show you some of that in a few minutes. So once we decided what needed to be included, we implemented it, and it was initially very well received. We got good feedback and suggestions. We made some revisions this April because there were some Transition Academy updated video clips, so we added those. We revised a couple of the slide decks with updated information, which is the benefit of putting it in Canvas. It's so easy for us to modify it, to change it, to see what's going on with it. We can invite the new teachers. We send them a direct invitation so that they can get in, because anyone who teaches on our campuses has access to Canvas. And we've been using it for 2 years now. And the CTE teachers and the adult ed teachers all said that they benefited from going through it. We've also had noticed that we had less complaints from students in the ICAPS programs. There were some particular things that kept happening, and we were like, okay, we can correct that in the training. So we were able to do that. And then our teacher communications and expectations and their support, the students felt it was better. So that was also good feedback for us. So if you would like to see it, I'm going to go ahead and this is basically the table of contents. So we have a pretty extensive welcome and introduction module, and then there's some pre-work that they need to do. And then the first module, we wanted we wanted teachers to understand what the soft skills in ICAPS were, because it isn't just about the content and it isn't just about the certificate. It's also how to be a student, how to be a good employee, all of those things that we bring in adult ed to our students. And the second module are the ICAPS teacher requirements for CLC in our program. Some of them are also from the ICCB Transitions Academy area, but most of this is the things we want our teachers to know and be able to do. And then the third module is actually when we get to the team teaching part, but we go into meanings, methodologies, tips for success, and some videos. And then that last quiz is the one, the one that we grant them their certificate. So I need to end this and pop over, where is it? My Canvas menu. So this is it. This is our team teaching training module. And we affectionately call it T3 in the office when we're discussing changes and stuff. So here's your welcome and introduction, and I'll go back and show you some of the pieces in each module. The pre-work for ICAPS, module 1, 2, and 3. So it isn't very long. It takes about 2 to 3 hours, depending on how someone is working through it. So I did want to show you the student view, because what you'll notice is the first module is ready to go, but you can't get into any of the other modules. They're grayed out, and that is because we have those prerequisite quizzes built in before they can go to the next one. And that basically ensured somebody wasn't just going to skip to the last one and not go through all the materials. So leave student view. So in the first welcome module, we have several, sorry about the ums. We have several different, just a welcome note that tells them, I'm going to make this just a little bigger so you can read it, that tells them what kinds of things they're going to encounter and what our assessed elements for success are, and what they can anticipate in this particular module and course. And then the next one is a little video from Sarah from ICSPS that gives our comprehensive overview of ICAPS in Illinois. And this one is about 15 minutes. I'm not going to play this one for you. You'll be able to catch it on the Transitions Academy website. And then we have a student stories video that we show. And it's very similar to the one Sarah just showed. It's got students and teachers and administrators all talking about the benefits of our ICAPS program at CLC. Then we go to a short PowerPoint, and I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I just want to show you how it's structured. So the next one is just a very short PowerPoint that explains what our bridges are and what our ICAPS programs are, and then it talks about what kinds of jobs students can get. Excuse me. So then there's the quiz, and I do want to show you the quiz because we made them so extremely difficult that there's no way anyone could pass. You know I'm kidding, right? Okay, so what does ICAPS stand for? And there are places in that initial welcome letter and in the PowerPoint that talk about it. And it was really fun coming up with 4 very different answers. And of course, there's only one right answer. And then the second question is also something from one of the videos. So that way we kind of knew if they had watched it. And once they submit that quiz, if they passed it, which I have never met anyone who hasn't, they would be able to move into the pre-work. Let me go back to modules. So I'm not going to show you the entire thing. I just want to kind of give you an idea of what each module looks like. So in the pre-work, we had an introductory information slide, and then we had some videos and links to things that they could watch. And these are directly from Transitions Academy. So if they aren't going through the whole thing, they can at least get the benefit of seeing some of what's available. And the plan is to update every April or May, every year based on how things have changed, because nothing ever changes in adult ed. So, okay, then we included a diagram of the team teaching continuum from ICCB, and then they have their quiz. And then there was some stuff that I took out and don't have published in some of the revisions, because I didn't want to delete it completely in case they decide they want to use it again. I wanted it to still be available. So whoever takes this over at some point will be able to go in and see what was done in the past, because I really think that historical development information is important. Module 1, we talk about the CTE and adult ed teachers' roles in ICAPS. And it's, again, another short PowerPoint, but we're starting to develop the, come on, service is unavailable. Sorry about that. But it's basically just an invitation to look at the different roles of the community, career and tech people versus the adult ed people. It talks about how adult ed people are not the content teachers. We do not teach any of the content of those. We just work with the students for study skills, for test prep and study and quizzes, and if they are writing papers or whatever, we help them with research and how to do research and resources. We don't do it for them, obviously. Things about how team teaching benefits. This is another one that came from Transitions Academy. Then we had 2 of our teachers do a very short, frequently asked questions video. And it's about 15 minutes. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I would like to introduce you to them. Oh, wait, I did it again. I told you I was going to do this. I forgot to share the sound. Okay, here we go.
My name is Malika Jones. I'm currently an ICAPS support teacher. I'm an ICAPS support teacher for the criminal justice and new teacher coming into first priority, but it is a priority in their life. They want to.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I messed that up because I hit the button. Okay.
My name is Malika Jones. I'm currently an ICAPS support teacher. I'm an ICAPS support teacher for the criminal justice and for the CNA nursing support classes. I've taught ICAPS for the past 3 years, and it is a very enjoyable and rewarding experience. Welcome to our team, and I look forward to seeing you around in the future.
My name is Melinda Garcia. I am an adult ed ICAPS instructor. I've been teaching specifically HVAC ICAPS for 5 years now.
I would describe our adult ed students as.
So there were 7 frequently asked questions, and we had Malika answer it, and then we had Melinda answer it, and then we would go to the next question. And so they give the teacher perspective of what those most commonly asked questions are. And I bet I'm not going to be able to
being
find
very
them
determined
quickly.
And driven. A lot of our students and themselves, they're coming.
Everyone, there might.
One thing I would tell a new.
I'm sorry. I'll make it available, and if people want to watch it, they certainly can. I don't. There it is. I had you covering my controls. So then our student success team did a video. It's also gives the perspective to especially career and tech ed teachers who are not familiar with adult ed, what our wraparound services are for ICAPS, what our student success team members will do as their liaison for the class that they're teaching, and they introduce themselves and what our job services are. And then we have the quiz, same thing. I think it's only a couple of questions. And so that kind of sets the tone for what the, what the team teaching is about. Then our second module is the teacher requirements. And so we wanted to just make it clear that it's a little different to teach an ICANN and ICAPS course than it is to teach a regular class in their division at the college, that we have a little bit more, oh, I don't know what's happening with this. I've never had, yesterday, everything worked great, of course. So let me open it in a different window because I do want to be able to show you this one. So it goes through our grading and our DAISY and the responsibilities for the CTE teacher and the adult ed teacher, and how to use their student success coordinator to their best advantage. It talks about who needs Canvas access, which you want to put the ICAPS teacher as a teaching assistant in the course Canvas so that they can help the students. They can't put in grades or anything, and they can't change grades or anything, but they can look, if they're a teaching assistant, they can look at what's in there and what's coming up, even if it isn't published yet. And we have found that to be very helpful. We also tell them about the kinds of material and text access that we need, what the requirements are for the support class, because one of the biggest misunderstandings we had was the CTE teachers didn't understand that the students were mandated to attend our support courses, because the support class, it's listed as a different course, and they need to be there. It's part of their agreement of being an ICAPS student. So we wanted to make sure they were aware of it. Same thing with the collaboration meetings. They're supposed to have weekly or as often as they need, definitely weekly minimum, but as often as they need to. And our teachers, they exchange texts, they do emails, they're constantly in touch with each other. I'm supporting an ICAPS phlebotomy this semester, and I think I'm probably texting with that particular teacher 3 or 4 times a week. We kind of use a case management style for the students who are the ICAPS enrollees. And for those students who are in the class that are not part of ICAPS, they're still invited to attend the support class if they would like to, if they want a little bit of extra help. Okay, then this one, we use percentages for co-teaching. We use 50% only for the first time an ICAPS is being offered. Then we go down to 25%, even if it's not the same support teacher. So we explain all of that and how there's what that means and what they're going to do with it. And then the last module is where we get into the actual nuts and bolts of team teaching. And so we have a few videos, we have a document, we have the career pathway document that is just a way for them to look at the graphic. I bet it's not going to work again. Oh, look at that. We have a short, I need to put you guys over here. I'm sorry. We have a short graphic that we explain to them about the different things that they will go through as we transition them to college, and some introductory information so that they understand what it is we're telling the students. And then we have the quiz at the end. And at the very end, it talks about how they get their completion hours and their certificate. And that is the course in a really big nutshell. So I'm going to stop my share. And if there's any questions or suggestions, I'm always happy to have them.
Mary Lynn, in the chat, Patty Ragg from Kishwaukee says that their organization uses D2L platform, and she said it's not as user friendly. Can we use free to teacher and instructor Canvas to do the type of training? And she also asked, has anyone else used the free for teacher version? So do you have any knowledge of that?
I actually don't, but I can certainly take the question and send it to our tech people. I'm like you, I can't do two things at once. I will take the question to our tech people and I can let Sarah have the answer. And if something happens that she can share it out with you, I'm sure she'll do that.
Yes, and if there's any pieces on here that you would specifically like, I can definitely share that with the group, or it's up to you, Mary Lynn, if you're willing to have people reach out to you directly. That's your call.
Excuse me. Yes, that would be fine. I have my email is on the front page, the cover page.
And then also Audrey from down at SICK asked if the Canvas shell is something you're willing to share. She says it's very well put together. So
Oh, thank you. I'm perfectly willing to share it. I just have to figure out how we could do it. I'd hate to have to send you all the individual pieces. I'd really like to send it just as a cohesive unit. So that's another thing I'm happy to check with our tech people. It shouldn't be like, it should not be copyrighted or, you know, intellectually. Our IT is like super paranoid about us sharing documents and stuff. So let me find out how to do it from them. Short answer, yes.
that's their job, is to worry about those kinds of things, right? So
That's true. That's very true.
And I'm putting Mary Lynn's email in the chat. Whoops, you guys, I put a comma in instead of a period, so you know that that's wrong, right? So anyway, the next question is, Shamir asked, have you had issues getting the CTE instructors to welcome the adult ed instructors? So at least some communication with the two versus them both working siloed. How do you work on that?
I'm sure that we have, but they haven't been anything we haven't been able to overcome. We ask the divisions and we have their associate deans or their administrative office management people pick particular teachers. We tell them the things we're looking for as far as someone being very collaborative and innovative and willing to try something new. And so we've been very fortunate in the teachers that they've chosen for CTE. We've had one or two that it didn't work out. And so we just asked that they not teach that section again the next time. But once they go through the training, whether it was live prior to doing this or this one, they have a good sense of what it is that we expect from them. And so they've been very cooperative. And then if they don't want to do it, they can tell them, no, I don't want those students in my class. And so we find another teacher.
Very well said, Mary Lynn. And I'm going to tell you also, just from hearing other programs who've had success, one of the things that they've mentioned is kind of, you alluded to this, finding that champion, somebody who is interested. And then they oftentimes, that person can share the message with others and is one of the best resources in trying to help move us forward. And you know what, just recently I was talking with a program that was developing an ICAPS, and it was their first ICAPS in their program. And one of the piece of advice that I gave them was, find the most, and you kind of alluded to this, Mary Lynn, find the most, like, here's your three choices. Who has the most cooperative instructor who's going to be open to innovation? And that's where you start. And then after you have success there, then that's how you build. And I think the CLC model, from watching it for years, is they built something and then they built more on top of it and they replicated and then they brought it to scale and were really able to ramp up. Okay, a couple more questions. How do you manage having the non-ICAP students attending the support class?
We invite them usually at the beginning of the semester or the program or whatever. We introduce the support teacher and explain that there's a scholarship program for some of the students in adult ed, and one of the things they get is an extra support class. And if anyone is interested in joining, we'll be working on things like, you know, study skills, whatever it is that we're working on in that particular course. And in my medical terminology support class, I've had often 4 or 5 of the other section students sit in on the support class. And it's great because it really helps our students feel included, and it brings their overall success up. The one student, she had taken that class 4 times prior to our stuff, and she sat in with the support class and she finally passed because there were some things that just weren't being addressed that she had some gaps that needed to be filled, and we were able to do that. So then the teacher would encourage the next subsequent semester, she encouraged students, she said, I had a student, if you want the help there, it's there for you. So it's been very positive.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. Thanks for sharing that. And then another question is, do your AE students sit in credit courses with regular credit students? And does this cause any complications with AE teacher/credit instructor roles?
Yes, they do. They sit there. We have the sections stacked in PeopleSoft. So there's no one knows unless they choose to say that they're in the support class. Usually the support classes are held before or on a different day than the ICAPS class. So the support teacher is there, but they don't have to know who's in the class if they're not comfortable with it. But most of our students have been really great about saying, yes, I'm an ICAPS student and I get a special scholarship to attend and finish the course, and I get some extra help. And they've been, as far as I am aware, it's been fine. I haven't heard of any kind of issues. Oh, sorry, teachers. You know, the teachers, because we've done the pre-work and we've introduced them ahead of the time in the semester, our teachers, of course, are the most wonderful teachers ever. So they're very good at communicating and collaborating with people. And most of our ICAPS teachers have been doing it for 3 to 5 years now. So they've really got it down to a science on how to connect with their CTE teacher.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, partnerships don't always work. Not every collaboration works. So
No.
I think that's awesome advice when you said about, you know, if something doesn't work, then okay, let's try and figure out something that will work. And okay, another question, how does it work with respect to allowing those students to join the support class from a pay standpoint? Adding non-ICAP students is an extra duty for support instructors.
I have never had that question come up before. Our ICAPS support classes are generally very small, 3 to 5 students in a section. So to add 2 or 3 more people to a class that you're teaching anyway at the same time doesn't seem like it's something that we would worry about. So I'm going to have to leave it there.
All right, that's fair. If there's anyone that's here, I think this is okay. If I offer this, you can tell me, you can shut me down if you want, Mary Lynn, but if there's anybody else who's an experienced ICAPS instructor who's on here that would like to speak to that or to speak to, you know, some of these other questions, we are very open to that. And if you have any other questions, please put those in the chat. I want to be mindful and allow you this great resource of hearing. They have tons of experience at CLC, and Mary Lynn particularly has tons of experience. So put those in the chat, or if someone else wants to unmute and speak, they can. Other than questions, if you wish, I can show you another bridge video, or you can go and watch those yourself. I did put the link in the chat to where those are on the ICAPS website. It's all part of the Transitions Academy offerings. Some of the things that Mary Lynn mentioned, I tried to put the links in, like the team teacher videos that she mentioned. We had some original ones from Accelerating Opportunity, which was when Illinois first started doing ICAPS, and that was prior to the WIOA legislation of IET, and so those got old, so we updated those in 2021, so they are pretty fresh and have team teachers from around the state. And I will put those in again in case somebody didn't see that. But that's a great resource also. I think one of the good things about those videos is it allows you to share with other people, because sometimes the messaging is difficult. And so it's much easier to let people say, hey, this is what's good about it. If you're trying to convince either people to recruit them to be team teachers, or to share the information with your training partner, whether that's CTE or if it's an outside of the college system training partner, or even with your senior leadership to support ICAPS programming. So those are all right there. Okay. Any other questions, or should I bring up another video? I feel like we should have probably provided popcorn for this particular session, but you're going to have to get that yourself. So I fortunately gave out some bags of popcorn for Halloween, and I have some left over, so I'm good here with my popcorn. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and share one more video. This one is Teachers Love Bridge. So let me bring that up and share. And while this is going on, if you have other questions for Mary Lynn, please go ahead and put those in the chat box.
Be a teacher is not just a teacher. You're a student they are not just students. You need to embrace your students like they are part of you. They are part of your family. So that is something that I learned here when I was a student, and it's something that I share with my students now.
I've enjoyed when I'm teaching bridge classes that I teach a diverse population. So we have people from different cultures, different countries, different racial backgrounds. And the nice thing is that it's never an issue in the classroom. Everyone works together and gets along well. There's more of a variety of things that we do in the classroom.
They all have a very specific drive. They have a very specific motivation, and that is intrinsically valued by me, at least, as far as, you know, they have jobs, they have families, they have other obligations, and yet they're willing to come sit in a class, you know, from 6 to 9 or whatever the hours may be, and work on whatever they need to work on individually. So I find that to be challenging, but also fun. You're not just working with kind of, you know, the same student in the same place, you know, the page 79, you know, whatever it is. You have that diversity as far as helping each student get to where they need to be. So I find that to be fun as far as teaching that course.
They are focused. They are driven. They are supportive of one another. They have come through so many different circumstances, and yet they haven't been bowled by them. They have risen above it, and it's such a pleasure to just be with them, learn their experiences, and watch them grow, and watch them succeed.
All right, and it says at the end, let's continue the conversation. So again, does anybody have any additional questions? If not, we appreciate you attending this session. We are going to take another half-hour break. We did that purposefully so that you guys can check your email and come back and be fully engaged at 2 o'clock for the next section. We'll hang out here for a few minutes if anybody has any additional questions.
Hi, my name is Susan, and I am a support teacher for pharmacy tech students at Triton. And I just wanted to clarify, it was too much to put in the chat, but so the students that you said you welcome in from the phlebotomy class, do you enroll them in the support class as well as the other students?
Not if they are not adult ed students. We just let them sit in if they have the time and the desire.
Okay. because sometimes the teacher sends the students or said you should go to this, but they don't understand, you know, the whole concept, I guess. So I just wondered how you do that. And I guess it's a communicating with those instructors.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anybody else have a question? You all do have the ability to unmute like Susan did. So if you would rather ask the question rather than put it in the chat, feel free to. All right, you're getting some thanks and some thanks and some hallelujahs in the chat. So we appreciate you coming and sharing.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. We all do such amazing work. To have the ability to share it and connect with each other is the best part of adult ed in my book.
I hear you. I agree with that too. So thank you. Thank you to everybody.